So that simulation of convolution I will show in some other extra class. Okay, so we'll continue with the class itself. So with the third unit, so that is Fourier representation of the signals. So now, we have represented the representation of signals in terms of the LTI system as the weighted superposition of the impulse responses, is it not? So in the similar way, the signal can be also represented as weighted superposition of the complex sinusoidal signals. Okay, so we have already seen that if you have x of t or x of n, which is in terms of e power j omega t or omega n, so we can represent in terms of cos and sine signal. Okay, so in the similar way, so if we want to express the signal, so if we express that signal in terms of the weighted superposition of the sinusoidal, that is complex sinusoidal signals, so then that representation, which we will call it as Fourier representation. Okay. Fourier representation of signals. So now, so if we express any signal x of n or x of t, okay, in terms of the weighted superpositions of weighted superposition of complex sinusoidal signals. Okay, so then that representation we call it as Fourier representation. So now, depending upon the signal, whether it is periodic or non-periodic, the Fourier representation, there are different forms. Okay, so if say for example, if the signal, if it is like continuous or discrete time, okay, so if the signal is continuous and if the signal is discrete time, okay, if the signal is continuous time or discrete time, so then based on the signal, whether it is periodic or non-periodic, so we can represent the Fourier representation. Okay, okay, so if the signal is like continuous time and if it is periodic, so then we'll represent it as Fourier series representation. Fourier series representation. And if it is the same continuous time with a non-periodic signal, then we will call it as Fourier transform representation. Fourier transform. Fourier transform representation. In the similar way, discrete time, if it is periodic, so we will call it as discrete time Fourier series. Okay, so if it is non-periodic, then we can represent it as discrete time Fourier transform. Okay, so these are all the signal representation we will do for, so if it is continuous and if it is discrete, and based on the periodic signal or non-periodic signal, we will represent the Fourier representation in these forms. Okay, so unlike this, so if you take now first in the discrete time case, how we can represent the discrete time Fourier series. Okay, so if you take that and if you express that signal in terms of the discrete time Fourier series, so first we will take the periodic signal with the discrete time case. Okay, so if we take discrete time periodic signals, okay, so if we take a discrete time periodic signal, so if say for example x of n I want to represent in terms of discrete time Fourier series, so then it will be, so the summation n equal to n. So, this representation it is from 0 to n minus 1 because it is periodic with the fundamental period n. So, then we can represent, so this one x of k into e power plus j k omega naught n. So, this is the representation of signal x of n in terms of discrete time Fourier series. Okay. So, if I want to express this x of k, if I want to extract the x of k with the x of n, then we can write x of k which is equal to 1 over n summation. So, n equal to, so here it is k. So, we are varying k value. So, here it is the k variation. So, since we are varying the k value, and here it is the n value since we are varying the x of n. So, this will become minus j k omega naught n. Okay. So, now this is the signal x of n which we represent in terms of the discrete time Fourier series, and if I want the x of k with by using x of n, then we can express this one. So, here there n is the fundamental period of the signal. Okay. Fundamental period with a, so fundamental frequency omega naught which is equal to 2 pi by n. Okay. So, this is the fundamental period and this is the frequency, fundamental frequency. Okay. So, now this x of n and x of k which we call it as discrete time Fourier series pair. Okay. So, that we can represent it as, so discrete time Fourier series pair with the frequency omega naught, and we will represent it as x of k. So, this x of n and x of k are called as discrete time Fourier series pair. Okay. So, now this x of n we are representing in terms of the discrete time Fourier series coefficients. So, these are called as discrete time Fourier series coefficients of x of n. Okay. So, now here this is the time domain representation, and this x of k we will call it as a frequency domain representation. Okay. This is in the frequency domain, the representation which is in the frequency domain, and this is in the continuous time domain, or you can call it as time domain representation. Time domain representation. Okay. So, this we will call it as a discrete discrete time Fourier series pair. Okay. So, now this x of k which is having magnitude as well as the phase, if you see in the frequency domain. So, the magnitude of x of k which is called as the magnitude spectrum. Okay. This we will call it as magnitude spectrum. Okay. And the argument or angle, so which is x of k, which is called as phase spectrum. Okay. So, this is called as phase spectrum. Okay. So, this is magnitude spectrum, and x of k which is called as a phase spectrum. Okay. So, this is about the discrete time Fourier series coefficients. So, now this discrete time Fourier series has some of the important properties. Okay. So, dt fs, so which is having a important properties. So, what are all those properties we will going to see. So, now what are the properties which is having? So, it is having a linearity property, as like we studied in the LTI system, it is also possess the linearity property, and it is having a time shift property. Okay. And frequency shift property, and convolution property, scaling property, that is time scaling property. And so there is a theorem which is called as Parseval's theorem or Parseval's property, and also it is having a duality property. Okay, so these are the some of the properties which is the DTFS which is having. So now we will see one by one how these properties will satisfy in DTFS. Okay, so now coming to linearity property. So if you take, say for example, x of k, which is represented by 1 over n summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1, that we represent like this. So x of n into e power minus jk omega naught n. Okay, so similarly if I have y of k, okay, if I have y of k, so 1 by n we can represent it in terms of y of n, which is given by summation y of n into e power minus j k omega naught n. So now what is linearity property? So if, say for example, if we have x of n which is having a DTFS pair, okay, with x of k, okay, so this is a DTFS pair with x of k and x of n, and similarly if you have y of n with the DTFS pair y of k. So now, so if we have z of n, which we can represent it as a into x of n, okay, a into x of n plus b into y of n. So this having a DTFS pair which should satisfy, okay, so which is equal to z of k, we will get it. So DTFS pair of, that is z of n, we will get it as z of k. So which is equal to a into x of k plus b into y of k. So this we will call it as the linearity property. So if input which is having the addition of two signals with the amplitude scaling, so in the frequency domain or in the DTFS representation, so this also should possess the same additivity as well as the scaling property. So this we will call it as linear property. So now we will prove this. So we have already known x of k and y of k. So now write the representation for z of k, which is given by 1 over n summation, so n equal to n, which is z of n into e power minus j k into omega naught n. So now replace this z of n by the expression which we known here. Okay, so if you replace that one, so you will get the property which is the linearity property, which is proof we will get, that is z of k, which is equal to 1 over n summation n equal to n. So z of n we can replace it as a into x of n plus b into y of n, okay, into e power minus j k omega naught n. So now if you multiply to this one, so you will get, that is 1 over n equal to summation, so a into x of n into e power minus j omega naught n plus 1 over n summation n equal to n, so b into y of n into e power minus j k omega naught n. So this we can represent it as y of k, and this we can represent it as x of k. So by taking a and b outside, so that is a is a constant and remaining term we can represent it as x of k plus, so this b into y of k. So that means this possesses the linearity property. Okay. So, this is about the linearity property. So, now what is mean by time shift property? So, if you shift the signal in time domain, so what will happen in the frequency domain? So, if we have, so this is second one, that is time shift property. Okay, time shift property. So, now if you have a DTFS pair which is x of n given by x of n with x of k. So, now if you time shift by some unit, okay, that is, so x of, so some signal I will represent omega w of n, which is a time shifted version of x of n, which is x of n minus n naught. So, now what is the DTFS pair of this? So, the DTFS pair of this omega w k, which is given by, so w k, which is given by, so e power minus j k omega naught n naught into that whatever x of k. So, this is x of k. Okay. So, this is the DTFS pair with omega, that w of n, which is the x of n minus n naught, which is the time shifted version in the input signal. Now, we will prove this, how it will come. So, now we know the x of k, so we can write it x of k. Okay, so we know the x of k signal, which is equal to 1 over n into summation n equal to n, which is x of n into e power minus j k omega naught n. Okay. So, now we know, so w k, so which is defined as 1 over n summation n equal to n, that is w of n into e power minus j k omega naught n. So, now omega, that is w of n, we have taken it as the time shifted version of the signal, that is x of n minus n naught. Now, you substitute this one, so we will get w of k, which is equal to 1 over n summation n equal to, so n, so this you can write it as x of n minus n naught, so into e power minus j k omega naught n. Okay. So, now you replace n minus n naught by some variable, okay, so which is given by m. Okay. So, if you put like this, you will get omega, that is w of k, which is equal to 1 over m. So, now we have changed the variable n to m. Okay. So, this is m, which is periodic 0 to n minus 1. So, this will be x of m into e power minus j k omega naught n, we can replace it as m plus n naught. Okay. So, now if you expand this one, you will get the resultant of that DTFS pair, which is x of m into e power minus j omega naught n into e power minus j k omega naught n naught. Okay. So, now this you can take outside, and this we can represent it as x of k. Okay. So, this will be given by, so w of k, which is given by e power minus j k omega naught n naught into x of k. So, this is the time shifted version in the frequency domain, that is represented by w of k. So, if you have the time shifted signal in time domain, okay, time shifted signal, So you will get in the frequency domain it is multiplication of this term, that is e power minus j k omega naught n naught into x of k, that is, so whatever the shift it will happen, so that much shift it will be given by this term e power minus j k omega naught into n naught. Okay. So this is about the time shift. Okay. Is it understood? Any doubt? Hello? Have you understood? Any doubt? Hello? Nivedita, understood?
Yes, sir.
Two properties, linearity and time shift.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now we will move on to the next one, which is frequency shift. So the next property is the frequency shift. Okay. So now, so similar like the time shift. So if we have a DTFS pair which is given by x of n and x of k with the fundamental frequency omega naught. Okay. So now if we have the frequency shift, I will just represent that is in terms of g of n. So which is equal to e power j k naught omega naught n. Okay. So now this is a frequency shift which we specified in terms of the time domain. So if we have this signal, which is the input signal, now if we have this DTFS pair which is given by, so g of k which is equal to x of k minus k naught. Okay. So if you have the frequency shift in the frequency domain by the value of k naught, that will be multiplied by the term which is given by e power j k omega naught n. Okay. So this is in the time domain. If you shift the frequency domain the value of k naught, then it will be in the time domain, it will be multiplied by the factor. So whatever the shift which is happening. Okay. So that we will going to prove. So how it will come. Okay. So now write the g of k which we know, which is given by 1 over n summation. So n equal to 0 to n minus 1. So that we represent like this, and g of n into e power minus j k omega naught n. Okay. So now this we can represent. So g of n we know, that is 1 over n equal to summation n. So g of n you can replace it as e power j k naught omega naught n into x of n. So this multiplied by e power, so this is minus j k. So e power minus j k omega naught n. Okay. So this is the equation. So now if you take these two terms and if you take the common terms, that is j omega naught n, if you take the common terms, you will get 1 over n summation, so x of n into e power minus j omega naught n if you take common. So you will get, so k minus k naught. Okay. So now this we can represent in terms of x of k, which is shifted version, we can give, it is given by k minus k naught. Okay. So this is what the shift in the frequency domain. So g of k which is given by x of k minus k naught. Okay. So this is about the frequency shift. Okay, so coming to the next property, so which is given by the scaling. Okay, so here in scaling what will happen? Okay, so in scaling what will happen? So since it is a discrete time signal, so the DTFS scaling in the frequency domain, it is difficult to express the DTFS of the scaled version in terms of the scaled version of the original signal. Okay, so until the n by p which is given by the integer, say for example if you have x of n signal, okay, if you scale by the value of p, okay, p into n. So until this n by p possesses the integer value, okay, until it possesses the integer value. So this x of p of n, it is difficult to express the scaled version of the DTFS coefficient. And also, so in the frequency domain what will happen? So there is a loss of information due to this scaling. Okay, so that will happen. So if we have a DTFS pair x of n, which is given by this one x of k. So now if you scale this one, so x of p n, so then your DTFS pair will be given by, so that is if we express this signal z of n which is equal to x of p into n, then your z of k will be the scaled version of your x of k. Okay. So now this whatever scaling which is happening, so this will give the harmonic spaces in the DTFS coefficients. Okay, and it will space the spectrum between omega naught to p into omega naught. So this will give the loss of information, so the scaling property. So that's why it is difficult to somehow express the DTFS coefficients of the scaled version of the original signal. Okay, so this is the scaling property. Okay, so this is about the scaling property. And next one, so which we have the property which is convolution. Okay, so you know already the convolution. So if you have two signals x of n and y of n, okay, so now if you convolution if you do in the time domain, so that will become in the frequency domain or discrete time Fourier series representation, it will become the multiplication in the frequency domain, that is n into x of k into y of k. Okay, so this will become multiplication in the frequency domain. If you convolution if you do in the time domain, so this will become multiplication in the frequency domain. So that we will see, so how it will actually the multiplication it will happen. So x of n with the DTFS of x of k we know. So if you represent the x of n, the DTFS pair with x of k, and similarly if you express y of n, so the DTFS pair with the y of k. So now if I convolve the signals x of n, okay, which I represent in terms of z of n, x of n convolution y of n, and since it is the signals are periodic, so we represent in the rounded form. So this is periodic convolution x of n into y of n. So this will give the DTFS of the z of n which is given by z of k, which will be equal to n into x of k into y of k. Okay. So now we take this z of k, so which is represented by the DTFS of the z of n, which is given by 1 over n summation, so n equal to n, so z of n, so into e power minus j k into omega naught n. Okay. So now we can represent this z of n as a convolution of x of n and y of n, which is given by z of k, which is equal to 1 over n summation. So this we can represent it as x of n convolution y of n. Okay, so this is multiplied by the e power minus j k omega naught n. So now we know the convolution equation, which is summation. So summation x of n into y of n minus k. So if the k varies from minus infinity to plus infinity. So since we are taking a periodic convolution, so we can represent this one as z of k, so which is equal to 1 over n summation. So now this, so periodic convolution we can represent it as some other summation, which is L equal to n. So we can write it as x of L into y of n minus L. Okay, so this we can represent, and so this summation will give the convolution equation, which is multiplied by the remaining term e power minus j k omega naught n. Okay. So now interchange these summations, so there is no change in that. So if you interchange the summation, so what you will get? So z of k, which is equal to 1 over n summation L equal to n, and you take out the x of L, okay, and this summation you put it here. So you will get the summation n equal to n, so which is given by y of n minus L, so into e power minus j k omega naught n. Okay. So now if you put the n minus L, which is equal to m, okay, so replace this n minus L by m. So what you will get? You will get z of k, which is equal to 1 over n summation L equal to n x of L into summation. So now if you change the summation n into m, so this summation will become m, and so if you replace n minus L by m, you will get the y of m, okay, into e power minus j k omega naught. So if you replace n by L plus m, so you will get the equation, which is e power minus j k omega naught L plus m. Okay. So now if you do that one, so if you expand this one, you will get the term e power minus j k omega naught L. So you take that term and you replace with this, and that means you try to write with this x of L, and y of m, which is having the term e power minus j k omega naught m. So that you write, and so that separately you write it. So what you will get, see the equation. Separately write this equation, so you will get just I'll add the page. Try to write that, so equation. So you split this one and try to write. So, okay, so you write this equation. So summation x of L z of k, which is equal to which is equal to 1 over n summation L equal to n, so which is equal to x of L into e power minus j k omega naught L, and also you have the summation m equal to n x of m into e power minus j k omega naught m. Okay. So now this we can write it as 1 over, that is n into x of k. So because x of k, if we can represent, it is become 1 over n into x of n. So that if you multiply this side, so you will get, so you know the equation, right? So that is x of k, which is equal to 1 over n summation x of n into e power minus j k omega naught n. So now if you want this term only, so you can write it as this is n into x of k. Okay. So in the similar way, only the summation we are writing n into x of k, and here also it is, so sorry, this is y of m. So this is, we are replaced n minus L by m. So this we can write it as y of m. Okay. So this is y of n, which is given by n into y of k, and this term which is given by n into x of k. Okay. So this we can replace this summation terms, and we will get it as 1 over n into n into x of k into n into y of k. So now one n will get cancel each other, and we will get the z of k, which is given by n into x of k into y of k. So this is about the convolution. So if you do convolution in the time domain, so you will get the multiplication in the frequency domain. So that is what the convolution property. Okay. So is it understood, this one? Any doubt in this? Hello? Any doubt? Obviously, have you understood convolution property? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Akshata?
Sir.
Okay, so anybody is having doubt in this? Subramanya, understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so next we will do the another important property, so which is called as Parseval's theorem or Parseval's property. So that is, if you have the x of n, okay, with the TFS pair x of k, okay. So now if you take the power of this signal, so if you represent the power, that average power, we know the equation for this average power, that is represented as 1 over n, so n equal to summation n, that is 0 to n minus 1 x of n square. Okay, so this is the average power given by this signal x of n. So now if you see this one in the frequency domain, okay, you will get the summation k equal to n, so which is given by x of k square. Okay, so this is about the Parseval's theorem, that actually it will give the power density spectrum, how the power of the signal is distributed in the frequency. So, the power in the frequency domain you can able to see, that we will call it as power density spectrum. Okay. So, now we take this power of this input signal and whatever x of n, you take this signal and try to arrive this equation. Now, this property satisfy this one. Okay. So, take the power equation. So, which is given by P equal to 1 over n summation n equal to n. So, which is x of n square. Okay. So, now this x of n we can split it as x of n into the complex conjugate of x of n. So, since the power is determined by the signal and its complex conjugate, so we can write it that one as, so x of n into its complex conjugate. Okay, x star of n. Okay. So, now this x star of n you can write it in terms of dTFS, the equation which is given by 1 over n summation n equal to n. So, this we can represent it as the dTFS of the x of n, we can represent it as the summation k equal to n x star of k into e power j k omega naught n. Okay. So, this we can represent this x of n in terms of this dTFS coefficients. So, now we can interchange the summation, so that we will get the 1 over n. So, summation k equal to n x star of k into summation n equal to, so 0 to n minus 1 x of n into e power j k omega naught n. So, now if you take the complex conjugate, so here it is minus, because if you take the complex conjugate, x of n is nothing but, so summation n equal to n x of k into e power plus j k omega naught n. So, now if you take the complex conjugate, this will become minus. So, now if you interchange the summation, so you will get x of n into this one. So, this we can represent it as again x of k, that is that is n into x of k. Okay. So, that will become, so 1 over n summation k equal to n x star of k. So, this we can represent it as, so this one, so n into x of k. So, now this will get cancel each other and you will get the equation which is summation k equal to n, so x of k. So, if you multiply this x star of k and x of k, so you will get the x of k square. So, now this will give the power density spectrum, so which is the Parseval's theorem. So, that will, so this we are represented as the x of n, that input power of the average input power of the signal. Okay. So, this will be the summation of this frequency domain, the power which is represented in the frequency domain x of k square, summation k equal to 0 to n minus 1, which is x of k square. So, this is what the Parseval's theorem explains. So, it gives the how the power is distributed as a function of frequency. So, that is what this theorem. Okay. So, is it understood, this one? Any doubt? Hello? Hello? Any doubt? Okay. Okay, we will stop here and we will continue some more properties in the next class.